While we're trying to get Doctor, I have one very particular. I couldn't ask Simon. I asked him, he probably would say it's proprietary information. But hey, um, I would have left that. Okay, we're waiting for Doctor actually. And Doctor and Doctor. The two doctors here are the ones standing between us and lunch. So Dr. A and Dr. B, we need to get both doctors to come and speak to us. But I mean, how's the session been for everyone? Yeah. Did you say techie? It was quite techie, right? It was quite techie. I heard that. It was techie, right? Don't worry. You know, one of the challenges that techies have is not being able to break down tech in a way that everyone understands. So most times techies talk about tech and they talk about it in such a way that, you know, assuming that everyone understands. So sometimes it's more out of passion, you know. They speak tech, talk tech, you know, and then it's flying over people's head. But you know, hopefully we'll get to a point where more and more people will understand, you know, some growth opportunity. Is Doc online? Is Doc ready? Hello Doc, can you hear me? I'm waiting for you actually.
Yes, I can hear you now. I believe that's me, right?
Yeah, that's you. All right, Doc.
All right.
You have the floor. Over to you. Thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you very much. Let me see if I can share my slides, all right? Just a few slides. Can you see my slides, please?
Yes.
Hello. Can anyone see the slide?
Yes, we can.
All right. Thank you very much. Now I know the risk involved when one stands between people and lunch. Okay. So we'll try and keep it simple as much as possible. In the next few minutes, I'm told I have about 9-10 minutes. We'll be looking at the fintech dimensions of cyber security. All right. You know, just the outline here. No need to waste time on that. First thing I'd like to say is that fintech is here to stay. Fintech is here to stay because of the power, the transformation power that it has, the high value addition provided in an environment of low cost and high efficiency levels. If you sit down and take a deep breath and look at what the fintechs have achieved in the last 3 to 5 to 7 years max, you will see that fintech is making practically the impossible to be possible. All right. Because of the lack of time, we won't go into too much of that. Now, initially, fintech was employed just at the back end of systems of developed large organizations, but in the last few years, significantly, now financial technology experts and services are moving forward. They are customer-oriented, seeking to help businesses to better manage processes, to better manage customer fulfillment. And so the proliferation of the use of technology to optimize and ease financial transactions has not only revolutionized the payment space, but it has also broadened the attack surface as well for the bad actors. Therefore, cyber attacks are no longer a matter of if they happen, but when they will happen. And I'm sure that most of us here, or every one of us has heard the popular cliche, right? That there are two categories of companies, those that have been hacked, and then the other buckets of companies that they don't know that they've been hacked, but everybody will be hacked. So it's no longer a question of if, but when the cyber attacks will happen. So what is this cyber security that we're talking about? You know, that's making us to spend a few minutes on the fintech dimension is the entire practice and processes that we follow in protecting systems, networks, data, and programs from any form of digital attack or any form of unauthorized access. That's cybersecurity in summary. And with the rising adoption of technology to facilitate payments and access to financial services, it has only become necessary, ladies and gentlemen, that guidelines and principles that provide safety to these systems are adopted. If you look at the right-hand side of the slide, for instance, you will see there that between 2019 and 2021, the number of fintech startups has increased across the entire globe in all regions, from the Americas to EMEA to Asia Pacific. You see there that the number has more than doubled in each case, practically in each case, in each region. That tells you that there is transformation power in fintech. The three key words, that's what else cybersecurity. Which is the distributed denial of service. Actually, both of them are essentially the same thing, to the extent. Whereas one is just an attempt to crash a web server using one direct machine or an attack vector. The other is using a myriad of many, using many devices or many sources, or as known as zombies, and then sending packets to a target server to make sure that the server crashes, which is the objective is to prevent the authorized access to the services of the server by authorized persons or customers, as the case may be. Other cybersecurity challenges encountered by fintechs include phishing, and like I said, this is not specific to fintech, it's general. You receive all kinds of email messages, all kinds of fake messages, and then people are deceived into accessing dangerous, unsafe sites, and then they get scammed. And then you also have the issue of money laundering risk. This is the key one, especially for fintech. Criminals often want to use financial technology, to use fintech to introduce illegitimate funds into the ecosystem to make them clean. So that is one risk that fintechs need to watch out for. What about data breaches? I've mentioned that already. That affects both fintech and affects other organizations, but it affects fintech even more. And then we have third-party or unsecured services. This relates more to the supply chain risk and supply chain attack. A lot of fintechs depend on other third-party providers of services to do their work and provide their services. Once you use or you are dependent on a third party, then actually they are also liable to be infected when that third party is affected or attacked, and we've seen that across different parts of the world. Now, this slide focuses critically on the types of challenges specifically suffered or experienced by fintech. The first one is the minimal attention to controls and standards due to what I call extreme agility. Fintechs are agile, they're smart. Everybody sitting in this room, you're all smart people, very smart people. In some cases, they're a bit hasty. They want to get things done quickly, time to market, they want to run and get things done. And because of that, the fintechs generally pay minimal attention to controls, minimal attention to standards. And that is a big problem, because once you don't have adequate standards, then you can be easily attacked by the bad actors. Because the average fintech or startup is small, there is typically scarcity of investable funds to invest in technology tools and appliances, as well as cybersecurity tools. I think I've heard as part of the discussions earlier on, we've heard about cloud services, cloud etc. There are some fintechs that provide cloud services. You'll be amazed to know that their servers are being operated from the garage, and that's a big problem. So the scarcity of funds exposes the fintech infrastructure to cyber attacks. So that's a big challenge. Thirdly, there are skeletal risk management practices. A lot of fintechs do not pay attention to something as basic as patch management, patching of the servers. There is no server that I know that does not have some level of vulnerability, whether exploitable or non-exploitable. So, patch management is an issue. Fintechs, and that ties in with the first bullet point, which is the minimal attention to controls and standards. If you do not pay attention to patching of servers, ensuring that your vulnerabilities are cut down, then you are laying out yourself to be easily attacked by the bad actors. Other types of controls like network segmentation, like simple access controls. A lot of our fintech organizations do not pay attention to these things, and so they make them quite accessible and susceptible to attacks by the bad guys. Fragile governance structures actually goes without saying. A lot of the fintechs are run by one or two people, with just a few staff. Different areas of business does not exist, and that is a bit of a problem. So our fintech organizations need to pay some attention to this, because those organizations that have good governance structures, they're able to manage their attendance risks more carefully, more proactively. And then one thing that we see, especially with fintech, is in regards to documentation procedures. A lot of the time, you have the procedures in the minds or in the brains of the key actors of the entities, and that is not good for cyber security. Will require adequate documentation of all processes. What about backdoors? Fintechs, typically, those who do coding, backdoors are introduced deliberately so they can easily go in and fix problems. But that is also the same route that the bad actors will take to attack the systems. And then the issue of testing, insufficient testing. That is a major issue, and it's not in Nigeria alone. Globally, studies have shown that a lot of codes that are designed are not tested adequately before they are released, and so that's a big problem. And finally, we have inadequate version control, controlling the codes that have been developed so that you know what version has been released, who has access to what. So when there is a problem, you know what to do. These are some of the key challenges that are specific to fintech. Now, this is my last slide. It just contains a few of the recommendations, just a few. The first one is that no matter how small the organization is, please, all fintechs are required to pay some attention to employee training and education, especially in the area of cybersecurity. Everybody should work with a mindset of being secure, knowing fully well that we started by saying cyber attack is no longer a question of if, but rather it is when it will happen. So everyone needs to know the safeguards, what to do and what not to do. Basic hygiene processes. And then secondly, as much as possible, we should pay attention to standards. Let's benchmark our services to the best across the world. One way to do that is to get certified to some. It's not all the standards that apply to all organizations. No. Basic standards that apply, like ISO 27001 on information security. If you are providing services to the financial services organization or ecosystem, you need to be certified here. That benchmarks you to the best in the whole world. What about ISO 22301? That is on disaster recovery. There is no organization that is perfect. I'm sure we all know that. So when the problems occur, your systems must be resilient. You should be able to get your systems back up and running so that your customers can access your services. And then the others like PCI DSS as applicable, MDPR, cloud security, etc. The third item there is that everyone should pay some attention to risk management. We do not need fintechs to develop robust risk management practices, no, but essential risk management. What can go wrong? Put safeguards in place so that if you have that and then you are willing to invest a little amount, because we have said, and that there are scarcity of funds. That's the second bullet point here for technology, hardware, software, and cybersecurity tools. However, no matter how small your capital is, you should have something to invest in ensuring that you have a robust cyber security posture that keeps your services safe and secure. There is some level of data encryption and backups that are required. So we need to ensure that data are encrypted both at rest and in transit. That way, and then we take backups. That way, when the attacks happen, we are in a better position to bounce back and have resilient systems. I hope the above few slides on the issues covered have been helpful one way or the other. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Siawe. Please round of applause for him. Thank you very much. Fintechs, I mean, even though we focus a lot on fintechs, fintech users of fintech solutions also know that, it's also your responsibility to stay safe. He said that, don't use the same password across your apps, don't click on links, cut your grid level. If you didn't keep money anywhere, don't expect to get money, don't expect to get free Bitcoin, stuff like that. It's all our responsibility, because if we build on all of this infrastructure and then, we don't allow trust to exist in the system and affect the system. On this note, I said two doctors were standing between us and lunch. One doctor is out. Let me call on Dr. Babatunde Obrima, COO of the Fintech Association for the next 1 hour.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for staying through. I'm supposed to do the closing remarks. I'll do the closing remarks. The closing remarks are about repeating what everybody else has said, so there's no point in me boring you. And people are hungry, so I'd just like to appreciate the
recording in progress.
The organizers of SSF for believing in the Fintech Association of Nigeria. I'd like to appreciate Sopendo and Gerald in particular for believing in us and for allowing this to happen. I'd like to appreciate the president of the association for also supporting this, for our sponsors, Access Bank and African Fintech Foundry, and for all of you here and those who have joined us online. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you, and we believe that everything you've heard today will impact on what you're going to do in the future, will impact on what's going to happen to us in the future. I mean, there's so much happening, AI, cloud computing, quantum computing, blockchain technology. There are things that are going to definitely create changes that are significant in the economy. I mean, it goes beyond just payments. I mean, what's going to happen there? What blockchain can do with the agricultural sector, with the health sector, with the educational sector. So there's so much that's going to happen, and it's the people here that can make the changes. Like I always say, the analog generation cannot implement a digital economy. We need the digital generation to do it. Some of us are digital immigrants. We are not natives. We are immigrants, but we are lying. Well, analogs can do it. So it's you guys that are going to do it. So thanks for being here and enjoy lunch.
Thank you very much. On that note, I want to say a big thank you to every one of you that have sat through. Thank you for joining us for this particular event. We look forward to welcome you in 2022, God willing, Nigeria. Until Okay, yeah. So lunch is happening just next door here. On the way out, you'll see the restaurant. Okay, that's where we're having lunch.